We love each other, and we're always sad at the end of working on a movie.
Yeah.
Like that's because we know it's going to be like another 5 years. 5 years before we.
Who was the most emotional when you guys wrapped?
That was probably Scarlett. She usually gets really emotional, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I was pretty teary-eyed.
Yeah.
Everybody was.
We all were.
And that has nothing to do with the plot.
No.
It's just the fact that this is
We're a
the
family
culmination
now.
of a really long endeavor, and you know, it kind of wraps up the journey for a lot of the characters, and that's okay too, right?
Especially when you meet young fans and they really only know you as the character. There's something really awesome about that, actually. It's like they don't care about, like, they're not looking at you as, they don't want to know anything personal about you. They really just are, like, so excited to, you know, ask you about the character and talk about the character interactions and, like, who's best friends and, like, who could beat who and all that stuff. I mean, it's so cool. To know that you could be a part of that imaginative play is just awesome.
And really get to benefit from a lot of the fruits that these guys had cropped, which was this amazing group of fans who were very excited to embrace us. And
you guys
really
got a whole, like, you have crazy super fans too, like that just, I mean, it's like people like want to live in Wakanda. They are like, they know the whole government of Wakanda.
I've seen some Wakanda passports. I'm like, guys, no, let's go work out.
Yeah, outside of the Thanos.
Thanos is the closest to any of them, but certainly. But well, you know, here's the thing: the fans are so passionate, and they spent such a long time living with these characters, thinking about these characters, and they're using their imaginations to follow where these stories could possibly go. And sometimes people do get, sometimes they're wildly off. Sometimes they're kind of next door to what might happen. Well, here's the thing: nothing's ever that close. Like sometimes something, you know. You can get kind of close, but it's never exactly what it is.
Our mission is always to
It's like,
surprise people, so we try to make really surprising choices. And I don't know that anyone predicted that we would end Infinity War with killing half the characters, but you know that's the job. Be disruptive.
For sure.
Break up the Avengers, make the good guy the bad guy. You know, and Winter Soldier. So be disruptive. Yeah.
Well, firstly, it's definitely based on what the actor needs to know to understand their arc, their character arc, and what they're doing in the movie. Like, we always make sure that they understand, and even if we're not giving them everything, we want to give them context, right? So that kind of guides everything, but we treat it as a need to know, you know? So it's like, as long as you understand where you are in the movie, what your needs are as a character, you don't really have to worry about everything else, because we almost look at it as like, it's a favor we're doing to people. It's hard to have all this information that you can't talk about. It's really difficult. You have to constantly mind yourself. And to sort of take some of that pressure off the actors, I think is nice.
Yeah.
Who wants to know what's going on? I mean, you know what? I think...
Well, no, we're very measured. But you know, all the actors are very good about...
That's why we killed them.
Just so you don't have to deal
with it
anymore.
Who else used to ask a lot of questions was Benedict. That's why he's dead
interesting.
Too, so.
See what happens
Everybody
when you
who
ask
asks
questions?
you're gone.
You get snapped.
You're gone.
You get snapped away.
Yes. I mean, I think it's, you know, collectively everybody. We're gonna, you know, but for everyone, we won't say because that would be a spoiler. So I think we're just excited for it because none of them have seen the movie. So and very few of them have read the script. So if any of them really. Yeah. So it'll just be interesting to see how they react, knowing what the whole story is, because they're finding out information as the premiere audience is finding out information.
It's incredible, and that's the best part of making these movies is when you get to share them with an audience. I was a fan myself before I became a filmmaker. I, you know, watched a lot of movies as a kid and had a lot of emotional responses to movies. And now, as filmmakers, my brother and I try to give those same emotional responses to audiences. And when audiences respond the way that they did in India during Infinity War, I mean, that just, it changes everything about the movies and why you make them. And so it was a mandate of ours to come here first on the tour. This is the beginning of the press tour, and we haven't even finished the movie yet. And I jumped on a plane to come over here because of the way that the audiences here responded to Infinity War. And I think that we've learned a few key lessons about how to protect spoilers. One, obviously, is that you don't give anyone the script. And so if they don't have the script, they don't know what happens in the movie. And with the actors, we write fake scenes, or they get very limited amounts of material. When you're working on a movie like Infinity War, you know, Star-Lord doesn't need to know what's going on with Captain America. They're in very different sections of the film. And so they just each get the lines from that section of the film that they're in. They can understand their motivation because they're following their storyline. So they ultimately don't know what happens. All of the characters who died at the end of that movie, a lot of those actors were told the day of what was going to happen. So we protected that secret for the entire shooting of the film. And then, of course, it's people like Tom Holland or Mark Ruffalo that don't get any script. We have someone just read their lines to them on set the day that they get there. That's all they know.
That's always a
way to protect the. You know what? It's easier for an actor when they're doing interviews to not spoil anything if they don't know anything. So we've learned that lesson.
That is amazing.
Have we traced the original source of the theory? I want to know who is responsible for it. Yeah, it was a pretty ingenious theory. Too bad we didn't think of it before we made the movie. Downey certainly has the biggest personality, and he has an area that we call Downey Land, where it's sort of he's got several trailers that are encircled, and he's got a couple of picnic tables in the middle of it where he hosts lunch every day for the actors, and on Halloween he'll have a band come and play Halloween songs, or or he'll have a jazz trio come, and he'll do things that are really fun and interesting for the cast, and so everyone can stay close and really build their sense of camaraderie. So I think for certain he is the biggest personality on set. There was probably the coolest thing I saw the entire time we were working on the movies that we saw Robert do was, as a thank you for working with Chris Evans, he gave Chris Evans a car. And it was a refurbished Mustang that was painted blue in Captain America colors, and it was pretty incredible. Yeah. Like I said, I think it's getting incredibly diverse. You can just see it; it's evident in the movies that they're making. The performance of those movies at the box office is reinforcing the notion that these movies should be as diverse as possible and speak to global audiences. And people are so passionate here in India that I can only imagine how an Indian superhero would be received.
Maybe.